Hello, Van Horn staff. This is this week's Van Horn Hive for the week of March 18th. Remember to empower all to be successful today for a better tomorrow. Some updates. Thank you all for going to the Eureka Math training last week. First and fourth grades, I know not everyone was able to attend, so you will have time to discuss the training that was missed last week. We are going to have a discussion at our leadership meeting on Tuesday about Eureka Math and what the adoption process may look like for us for next year. We're also going to discuss piloting a unit for fourth quarter before we make a decision on moving forward with Eureka Math. More of that information will come after the leadership meeting on Tuesday. This week we have our deep data dive for interim 3. We have half-day roving subs. Please make sure you bring student work and the matrix report. I sent in an email last week on how to print the matrix report. If you're still having problems, please see Susie, Dustin, or myself. Also, please bring a device because we will be working collaboratively. Kindergarten and fourth grade are March 18th. Second grade and fifth grade are March 19th. Sixth grade, you're all day on Wednesday. And then first and fifth grades, you are on March 21st. Notice that I do have a lunchtime built in for the afternoon session. So lunch will be from the time that your substitute arrives until noon. In the afternoon session, we will be starting promptly at noon. Chris and Angelo is going to be on campus on Monday, March 18th to do AVID walkthroughs. We're going to discuss evidence and the next steps for AVID for next year. This is a low-key walkthrough. Please do not stress out about it. I know AVID has not been a huge focus this year, but we will revamp it up for next year. Also continue with the instructional infrastructure on lesson delivery. I will be back in classrooms starting next week giving feedback on lesson structure and sequence. All right, some updates and reminders. You should be into our art project spring theme. The winning pieces will be at the district office. Then all other submitted pieces will be shown in the office at Van Horn. Please turn in those pieces by Wednesday at 8 a.m. so that we can vote on which pieces will go to the district office. I hope your kids are enjoying this fun project. We also have LPAC testing on the calendar this week. I believe that this is for students who either missed the LPAC testing or possibly for those students that are on IEPs. So they will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Please be flexible with the schedule. We do have a leadership meeting after school on Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Topics for discussion are adopting Eureka Math, what the next staff meeting is going to look like, and open house. We did have a staff meeting on the schedule for Wednesday, but we are going to postpone that, so no staff meeting this week. On Friday, Mr. Haycock, Mrs. Smith, and myself are going to be back at the district office for another professional development, deepening our backwards mapping process. So we are off campus on that day. Therese Halley will be on campus as administrative support, so please welcome her. And then looking ahead to the last week of March, Dr. Hall will be back on campus for her last visit with 95% group, and that will be Friday, March 29th. All right, some shout outs. Thank you to Mrs. Pelletier, Mrs. West, Mrs. Randolph, Mrs. Cortez, and Ms. Paletta for quickly adjusting their schedules to attend Eureka training. Thank you to Ms. Heinley, Ms. Rainey, Ms. Borges, Ms. Blythe, Mrs. Bruth, and Mrs. Fulton for understanding that the Eureka scheduling mistake and staying back on campus. Also, thank you to Mrs. Hammond for returning to campus from Eureka training because there was no substitute to cover her class. Thank you to Mrs. Fulton, Ms. Blythe, and Mrs. Bruce, and Ms. Smith for attending right from the beginning and beyond. We'll be looking at scheduling some training dates for later this spring and early fall to make sure we're all on the same page with right from the beginning and beyond. Thank you to Miss Melissa for coordinating all the substitutes last week. I know that is a big job, and I appreciate that you were so flexible with us. Thank you to Mrs. Hill for donating the popcorn for the flight ticket drawing last Friday. Thank you to Mrs. West, Mrs. Blyce, and Mrs. Borges for organizing the 4th grade snack sales. That was a huge hit. The kids loved it. And then finally, thank you to Mr. Haycock, coach, and all the teachers who helped to organize and time students for the track meet. It was a lot of fun watching our students participate. All right, that wraps up this week's communication. Please remember our school-wide foci, planning and instruction, data-driven instruction, and PBIS school-wide matrix, our focus on lining up and walking in the hallways. Have a great week.